Yeah. Oh, we just have the piano right behind him too. Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another music reaction slash breakdown, and welcome back to another week of EXO Spotlights. This week, we're going to be checking out Chen, and we're going to be looking at his track Beautiful Goodbye. Now, I think I got Chen mixed up with Suho last week, but apparently Chen is the king of ballads, or he's the one that's very proficient in ballad type kind of songs and tracks. So just really excited to, get into my feels for this week and really just enjoy, like Chen's vocal line and like his choices and his artistry. Yeah, I don't listen to ballads and stuff very much. I'm assuming this track is going to be a ballad, just based off of like the song name. But yeah, I don't listen to ballads too much, but when I do, they usually hit pretty hard. I do have a lot of respect and enjoyment for the whole ballad kind of style. So yeah, really excited for this. Let's just hop right into it. Go ahead and sit back, relax, and let's ride the wave. Mhm. We got this gorgeous piano in the back. Wow, I love that. Beautiful. Wow. The transitions in his vocal line are so good. Wow. Woo. Okay, before we move on, I think this next part is gonna be like the chorus or drop, or yeah, just hook in general. Couple of things to talk about. First off, that wooden kind of mic thing that they kind of have set up. I don't know if that mic is real, but if so, that's a really cool design. Otherwise, I love the extra effort they put into, like making kind of that prop for a mic to fit the setting. Assuming that's not a real mic, because if it is, again, that's a pretty cool mic. If so, let me know in the comments where to get that mic, because that looks sick. But yeah, that was a side tangent. In terms of the music, again, I mentioned this while I was watching it just now. The transitions between his vocal lines within the verse is so smooth. Obviously, with it being a ballad, there's going to be like really elongated vocal lines and notes, but just the choices within the movement between notes to get to different parts within the verse is so tastefully done. Sometimes in ballads, the notes kind of like jump sporadically sometimes, and that's not to say that's like a bad thing at all. In ballad genres or styles, it kind of just depends on what you're going for when you're singing that in the track. But it's really tastefully done here, where it kind of matches, the setting and the feeling, and the lyrics that he's singing. Right, this is a very clearly a emotional song. I think he's talking about, just based off of the lyrics I've seen so far, maybe he's talking about like a breakup that's happening, and his feelings about that, and how they're kind of separating, and how they might leave things off. So just gorgeous choices in the vocal line. This also gives me very like anime ending OST vibes as well. He mentions, like, on the screen, or I assume throughout the song too, the month April. If you guys are anime watchers, highly recommends the show Your Lie in April, very, very emotional and impactful story about love and the situations that can come from love. And this song, in my personal opinion, would fit really well in that anime, especially at the end of the series. So, so good. And then another thing to talk about, and I'm sure it's going to be throughout the song too, the choices in production, specifically with how much reverb and processing they're doing on the vocal, is so, so good. In production, it's very, very easy to overdo reverb, to over process, the space in the track, but it's just so like beautifully done, especially with like headphones on. It's really, really nice to hear that space being provided in the vocal line, but not being too overpowering over the piano as well. So yeah, really, really gorgeous stuff here. Let's continue on. Yeah. We just have the piano right behind him too. Oh, love those falsetto choices within the chorus. Oh, we got a little minor kind of transition there. Gorgeous. What a beautiful setting. Very interesting. Yeah, we're following the same rhythmic flow as the first verse. Mm, so good. Nice, nice. Here they shortened the second verse, and I think that's really intentional. A lot of songs in this kind of ballad style, it makes sense to kind of shorten the second verse because of how elongated and how much time ballads usually tend to take. Sometimes in ballads, the song can feel just like really long, and that's not to say that's a bad thing, but in certain cases, it might kind of lose the listener sometimes if, they're not willing to stay that long for the sonic experience and stuff. So shortening the second verse here in half compared to the first verse, I think is really intentional and a great use of arrangement for the track to kind of get things along and keep things moving along in terms of the energy, because of how slow and like gorgeous as it is a pretty slow and constant track. So very subtle way to kind of pick up the energy here. And then these kind of like dancers in like the circle around Chen and the piano player, their outfits too, beautiful, but also kind of like eerie in a sense with like their headpieces kind of covering their faces. I wonder if that's to kind of match like the lyrics too. The song is talking about like a relationship that was probably once beautiful but now has solemn undertones, right? So I think the outfits for the dancers is like obviously they all have like kind of like these beautiful costumes and stuff, but it's just covering the face as if to imply that there's, something masking or something that's making the setting a little bit dull, right? Tying it back to, potentially a dull relationship or something that's not working out anymore. So yeah, yeah. I'll stop rambling for now. Let's get back into this gorgeous song. Mm, is he gonna do the falsetto things again this next part? Yeah, right here. This might be my favorite part of the song. Wow, this is so personal. Oh, we got some major changes here. Hmm. Yeah, that piano picking up the energy. Wow, that whole section, so gorgeous. So I kind of talked about how the energy shift changes when cutting the second verse in half, right? They did a different kind of, I guess you could say, technique you can do to kind of pick up the energy, but the changes in keys within this kind of bridge section into what I believe is going to be the third chorus changes with keys to like relative majors or relative minors. Basically, if you guys aren't aware of what relative majors and minors are, you can kind of see like keys in like a wheel. People call them like circle of fifths, or if you're a DJ, they might refer to it as like a Camelot wheel. But basically, it's a chart where it kind of shows all the keys like in a circle and how which keys can kind of transition more easily into other keys. And there's certain keys that are within range from the main key of the song that can pretty smoothly transition between the keys to go back into whatever the original key was for the track. I don't know if that makes any sense, guys, but I know I didn't explain that pretty well, but highly encourage you guys to kind of check out the whole topic of circle of fifths or like Camelot wheel if you're looking at it from like a DJ's perspective. If you're interested in diving deeper into a little bit more of like music theory and stuff, circle of fifths is a very like foundational kind of topic and idea for music theory overall. So going back to my point, they kind of use relative majors and minors to kind of give a different feeling and give more color to the track in this whole like bridge section here, and very smooth transitions within keys and just gorgeous choices. And yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. That it was so well done. And then they kind of have at the end of this bridge just him singing one long note with it reverbed and washed out, and then just holding space for a bit too. I think space itself and like silence is a very underutilized component of music and in dance too. Like silence is a really good tool as a dancer with your mix to kind of utilize for tension and suspense and this feeling of longing. So they gave a lot of space at the end here, and I think that's just a way to give the audience and the listener some time to really soak in the song and sit into those feelings that he's projecting here. So gorgeous stuff. Mm. We got another build up. Oh, yep, and then we're just right back into second half of the original chorus. Oh, so good. Wow. Mm. Wow, I love this kind of outro thing. It's just one phrase. Oh, and there's no resolve for that last chord. Oh man. What a great choice for that end part. I don't know that last chord, the name of that last chord, just by hearing it. I'll have to kind of play around. But you hear that higher note kind of like that kind of higher note out again. I'll have to check what exactly that note is, but there's no resolve for that. When I talk about resolve, you can just kind of feel like, if you're not like a musician, where if one chord wants to kind of reach to a certain note or a certain position in the scale, right? So in this context, if this note wanted to resolve, it would be da, da, to reach that kind of major like one chord in the scale. but they just left it with no resolve. So they just had it play, you know, the lower notes with the and then just left it there. And that's very, very intentional in songs like this, where again there's a sense of like yearning and sadness and reminiscent of, you know, looking back on hard times. Giving no resolve really just, you feel that dissonance in the music, which really matches, you know, the lyrics and meaning of the track, right? So well done. Man, gorgeous song overall. I'll definitely have to kind of listen to this whole track again. It's just so tastefully done and just beautiful, and I don't really hear like really like sad, like intentional songs like this in at least not anytime recent. So this was pretty refreshing to hear, even though this song is like what, 7 years old now, so it's been out for a pretty long time. But for me, I haven't heard like a ballad kind of style track like this in a really long time. So yeah, gorgeous stuff. Chen really is like super proficient in this ballad kind of style, and just really excited to hear more from him. I wonder if he only does ballad stuff, or if he kind of dives into, you know, surrounding genres or styles too. So yeah, with that said, just excited to get into, you know, the next track that was recommended from you guys. So that'll be it for today's reaction. If you guys enjoyed the breakdown and reaction, consider joining the wave by liking the video, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell. All the support really does mean the world to me as a small creator. So with that said, until next time guys, talk to you guys soon. Peace.